And what I mean by that, I want to catch them in ways I have confidence. If you're not doing something that you're not confident in, a technique, you, to me, you're wasting your time. Now, there's times where you can go out there and learn new techniques. And I told somebody this in our split earlier. One of the best ways I've used to learn new techniques, I'll go to a stock pond that I know is just phenomenal, where I can catch a bunch of fish on a technique to get my confidence up. Same thing that goes back when I get on the water and I'm practicing for a tournament, starting practice. I want to try to figure out a way to catch them where I'm most confident and most comfortable, whether it's chatterbaiting, buzzbait, topwater, frog, flipping. I love all those techniques, but I got to key in on just a few that I think can generate the most bites in those events. Because, like I said, most of those type of events, you're going to have to get 6 or 8 bites, and hopefully you run into a big one. So find ways that you like to catch them and try to maximize on it. Try to make that work. Now, don't like push it in the dirt so long where, hey, I'm wasting time, but go into a practice or onto a body of water. Try to catch them the way you're most comfortable with, because to me, that's been my most successful way, no matter where I'm at on the country. So, how to fish multi-day events on a tough fishery. You got to have a really, really open mindset. Um, I think I heard Greg say earlier he never hardly looks for a spot, and that's true. You know, a lot of times having that open mindset, especially nowadays where you get these massive fields and tournaments where you got 200 boats. You know, some of the opens I fished in previous years, I've had the best success literally running down the river or down the lake looking for the ugliest banks possible on the lake and making them work. Because all the good looking stuff, all the obvious stuff is just getting pounded. So you'll try to kind of avoid the obvious stuff and look for the most ugly stuff and just have to make it work. Now, I'm not suggesting that by no means, because it ain't easy. It don't always work out. But sometimes you can kind of get that and maximize that. I think I heard Greg say one time, if you find an area where everybody's catching 20 pounds a day, well, those fish are going to run out. But if you can find an area by yourself where you catch 17 or 18 pounds a day, in the long run, you'll come out on a multi-day event. Something of that nature. He'll have to quote that for you later. I've been watching his seminars. But having that open mindset, not being afraid to fish new water that you have never seen before. You know, it's hard to find 4 days of fish because our Elite Series tournaments are 4 days long and 2.5 days. A lot of this stuff, you kind of get a little bit of a clue in our practice, and you kind of have to just run with it in the tournament. And what I mean by that, you may figure out, well, I can get bit on a buzzbait, I can get bit, you know, on a chatterbait next to a dock. Maybe it's the last dock in the pocket before you get to the very back. You figure out little clues like that and run with it. In the tournament, I'm not afraid to go hit, you know, every pocket that I've never seen before, but kind of sits up like that 1 or 2 that I've caught them in and run to the very back, hit that very last dock before it gets to the back. Stuff to that nature. You kind of have to get an idea during our practice of how you want to spend those tournament days, survive the first 2, and then continue on after that. But you know, like I said, catching them the way you're most confident or figure out strategies that you're most confident in can really help you on the mental side of a grinding event. There's several ways I like to catch them. I just went through them, but there's a few techniques that you're going to get bitten no matter where you're at. You know, a wacky rig Cinco is probably the best fish catching bait there is, in my opinion. No matter where you're at, from Florida to New York to the West Coast,